Welcome in to Three the Hardaway, aka the three-man gelling weave, aka the best big three since Draymond, Jordan Poole, and the Wall.
Stop, time out. Flagrant foul, man. Get this man. They talk about stopping the mic. I didn't see that one coming. I'm walking out.
Hey man, y'all know what we're talking about today. Y'all already know. If y'all watching on YouTube, stop the video right here. Leave us a like, subscribe to our channel, turn on notification bell so you don't miss an episode. If you are on a podcast platform, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, any podcast, subscribe over there and leave a 5-star review. We'll greatly appreciate it. If you don't know who I am the walking bucket providing instant offense. It's your boy Savage. Up here, we got my guy sitting in the car. He back in Memphis. Shout out to him. The coach on the sidelines, taking him to school on and off the court. And when I say it's really shitty, it's really shitty. Shitty Web though.
Not much, man. Enjoying this Memphis water before the pool.
Yes, sir.
It's closed.
All in the sun, man. Call your son because you sound like one.
Up here, we got my guy, your favorite DJ's favorite DJ, the sample man himself, the winner of the NBA Youngboy Fantasy Draft, Mr. Ted Shakir. Too, what up, though?
I'm chilling, man. God is good, fresh off the road, so I'm excited to be with y'all. I was finna hit the pool, but apparently it's closed.
Brother, like he about to attend a swim meet.
Okay, Michael Phelps.
Right. Two Phelps.
My nickname in high school was Aquaman. So,
I forget you swam in high school. That's crazy.
Yeah.
I never heard of a black person on the swim team. As a Memphis City, Shelby County, never heard of it. Never heard of it. But hey, you learn something new.
Not even a manager of the swim team. No.
Literally.
And Memphis all black, by the way.
Uh-huh.
There's no way. That's crazy. That's crazy.
Look, I'm telling you, we can keep kids off the street if we can incorporate like a slicing like sport. You know what I'm saying? A slicing competition. Hey man, that'll bring more black swimmers.
That's some black shit right there. That's some black shit right there. All right, y'all. So we doing these pool jokes and everything because if you are living under the rock, on NBA social media, NBA Twitter, NBA wherever, you know that about a week and some change ago that there was a report that came out randomly with the Draymond Green and Jordan Poole altercation. Of course, we got snippets of the details via messages from like Woj and Shams and all those NBA Twitter folks, but things didn't really catch momentum until we saw the video from TMZ, which, by the way, I still don't know how much TMZ paid for that video because that video was it was a bootleg breakdown. It literally was a bootleg breakdown. And if you are on Twitter, I did a bootleg breakdown of this particular incident. But yeah, I mean, it was pretty much cut and dry. Jordan Poole and Draymond were yapping in practice, which happens at practice. If you play basketball, I'm sure you got into an altercation at practice, but I personally was not expecting to see, I won't even say hands thrown. It was just one hand to the face from Draymond and Jordan Poole. But I'm gonna let my guy Took take it away from here because Took is the resident Golden State Warriors expert. He can provide his perspective and his analysis of the situation. So Took, go ahead, man.
All right, so for listeners, just kind of bear with me because I can take this kind of like in mid-season when Klay Thompson got back, right? And I said that the only reason that the Warriors were not going to win the championship is if their chemistry wasn't right. You know, Klay Thompson came back. Of course, he wants to shoot the ball. And the nonverbal communication, which is what I focus on, was there. Like you can tell Jordan Poole would just stand in the corner, just do his own thing. So you got a young little brother that's looking to prove himself, but he cocky as hell for no reason. Keep that in mind. Of course, Warriors go on win the championship, cool, whatever. In 2 years, Jordan Poole and Draymond Green will be free agents. Draymond Green will be an unrestricted. And after next year, Jordan Poole will be a restricted free agent. So people talking about contract disputes, whatever, that may have played a key factor. But I want us to really pay attention. If y'all can pull up, just stop right here, pull up the YouTube video right here, because it seemed like it's something that may have happened once before, or it seemed like it's something that should have happened a long time ago. And what I mean by that is that because Jordan Poole still can get under the skin of a lot of players, even though they're veterans, he talk a lot of shit, y'all. I'm gonna just put it like that. He talk a lot of shit and he won't back it up. So the fact that I put in a counter and I actually looked it up, give me 1 second, about the contract disputes, about the money making and everything. Of course, people want to say it's not about the money, but when you consider that over Draymond Green's 10-year career, he's made 150, 155 million, which is great. Get your money. But when you're talking about Jordan Poole, who is a restricted free agent, he's looking at a 5-year, $188 million deal. That's way more than Draymond's entire career. So maybe Jordan Poole didn't say nothing about it, but I'd be surprised if he didn't kind of throw that at Draymond Green. I'm just throwing it out there. So the fact that if you want to go and watch the video, people were around him. People were just watching. Nobody stopped Draymond Green from going up to Jordan Poole. You can even look at the push. There's literally 2 coaches right. I don't know if y'all can see it on the screen.
I'll make it work.
Right here.
I'll make it work. I'll make it work.
There's 2 coaches right there stopping them. But as we see, Draymond hit him with the pop-out, and that's it. So what I say by that is that the Warriors are going to have to make a decision. And I hate to be that guy, but this is me being a basketball head. This is me being a fan of the Warriors. This is me being a fan of the front offices. And what I mean by that is that you're going to have to choose between Draymond Green and Jordan Poole because this relationship cannot be fixed. So with Draymond Green, you got literally the heartbeat of the Warriors. Whether or not he's a max contract, whether or not people say he's this or that triple single, which, Jordan Poole was accused of whatever. He is the heartbeat of the Warriors. The Warriors would not be 3-4-time champions. Could be 5-time champions if it weren't for Draymond, but they won't be 4-time champions if they weren't for Draymond either. He's the best playmaker on the team. Defensively, he's the anchor on the team. You lose a lot when you with Draymond. But you're also going to lose maybe Klay Thompson as well. Because if you do pay Jordan Poole this money, I told you Klay Thompson didn't look comfortable playing this offense. Jordan Poole didn't look comfortable playing this offense where they were both on the court together. Granted, yes, they won a championship, but if you give a young, cocky player like Jordan Poole 5-year, $188 million, ain't no telling what he can do. So I say if I'm the Warriors, of course I'm keeping Draymond Green, but I'm shipping Jordan Poole out before the trade deadline. And what I mean by that is because you can find we know what Jordan Poole is right now. The Jordan Poole's highest point right here is probably right now because people expecting him to have a great season. You know what I'm saying? If I'm the Warriors, I'm not paying that $188 million because that's maybe gonna turn into $300 million in luxury tax, especially when I can find somebody that's easier to replace than Jordan Poole, than Draymond Green. All that to say, like I said, I want the Warriors to make the right decision. Maybe I've accused the Warriors of playing dirty on the court. Maybe they did leak the footage, but because we still don't know who leaked it, they may have leaked it to kind of cause some kind of controversy as well.
Goddamn conspiracy too. I didn't even consider
I'm just
that.
saying.
I didn't even think of that too.
Like you got all practice to record, but that's what TMZ wanted. But at the same time, we still don't know who recorded it. Like whether it was $100,000 that the dude was paid, which I've seen, or whether it was $3 million that I've seen. I've seen so many financial reports. I don't know. But we don't know anything for certain. But what we do know is the video was leaked. And now we're looking at Draymond Green and Jordan Poole as the reason why the Warriors may or may not repeat. I don't expect both of them to be on the team by trade deadline.
I think finally, too, we can kind of agree about something, and that's, trading someone at the highest value right now. Sorry, guys. If I just went away. This has been brewing, gentlemen. I don't know how long it's been brewing, but it's been brewing for some time. Not only did Jordan Poole, well, not me say that. Not only did Draymond Green put all of his everything into that punch, so did Jordan Poole with that push. Because if you watch that energy of the push, like Draymond don't move.
Jordan Poole moved. He moved.
Jordan Poole moved back, right? Like he's like, nah, I ain't messing with this, and then just move on back. And Dre's like, oh, okay, for real. And again, fold him as if he was a fitted sheet, right? Against the wall. No one said anything when it was happening. No one said anything initially right afterwards. Of course, there was someone there to support with Jordan Poole, but if you look at the video itself as what was been seen by us, everybody's like still at practice, pretty much. Like, nah, somebody deserves to get the ass whooped. We're gonna get the ass whooped. So
apparently, Jordan Poole finished practicing. Cheating. Apparently, he finished practicing. Yeah, that's what I heard. Apparently, he finished practicing.
Well, I hope he didn't have any black eyed peas after that. But I'm glad he did finish. And, you know, I don't know how long he is going to be with them. To your point, Draymond is the reason why this team has 4 rings. And could have been 5, right, without being suspended for the game for everything that he did. But again, what is greater than what if. This team runs through Draymond. We talked about this before when we talked about like top 10 power forwards. And I brought up that point was like, all teams that have won a championship here recently in the past 10 years have had some type of legitimate force at the power forward position. Draymond is it. Jordan Poole is not. And you've talked about it before too, and I will walk with you in that realm. It's either going to be Jordan Poole or Klay Thompson. It's not going to be both.
I can agree with that.
And so to me, Jordan Poole is not the reason why you have 4 rings. Jordan Poole is not a splash brother. Klay Thompson is. And so to me, you get rid of him, you trade him right now or soon before the trade deadline because his value is high. Coming off the season he did, going into predictions that will go into this year, you know, there's some people that think like he can be, you know, a 6th man of the year or most improved player, whatever it may be. Well, can't be most improved because you have to be so many years. But anyway, 6th man of the year, what have you. But he'll draw that type of value to get rid of him. So you're not paying him those, you know, $185 million and can pay it to a Draymond or to someone else, Kevon Looney as well, who has been deserving of some money there from Golden State. But at the end of the day, there was already smoke with this fire. And this fire had been brewing for some time. Draymond ain't going to throw all 200 of his body weight into that punch unless there was something more than just today or that day, going on with Jordan Poole. This has been brewing for some time. And to your point too, you know, Jordan Poole is a young, I don't want to say immature, but we're going to use the word immature for right now, type of guy. He's going to say what comes to his mind first and foremost and not think of whatever consequences his mouth can bring. And to the point Savage has already made, it's practice. Man, people say a lot of stuff in practice. If you've ever been to any type of practice, basketball, football, I'm sure even swimming, like you're going to talk trash to your teammates because you're trying to inspire them to do better than what they can see for themselves. But this trash talking has been going on to a different level, you can tell, between those 2 gentlemen. And again, Draymond is a cornerstone of the franchise, not Jordan Poole. So you get rid of Jordan Poole and you go ahead and shut down. Same way you shut down White after Labor Day, you shut down the Poole right now.
Even though both of us got on White. Draymond did say in his interview that hurt people. So he was, I guess, hurt, dealing with a lot. That's his excuse. Just want to throw that out there before you went Savage.
So as y'all were talking, and even prior to like this episode, I made sure that I took notes. Yeah, Sheedy mentioned that Draymond had the force of every dark-skinned person versus light-skinned person conversation in that cockback punch. Like oh my God. Like I hope that Poole didn't hit the wall because like he bounced against the wall and he just like melted into the
Draymond
ground.
held him.
I think Draymond was like, oh shit.
Draymond held him.
Draymond said, oh shit.
Like, oh yeah. Yeah. It could have been worse.
It could have been worse. It definitely could have been worse. Another thing is like this team was coming off of a championship season, and that's how you know this beef is real. Like we just won a championship. We should be happy and celebratory. We got like even on ring night, Jordan Poole is going to get his name announced in front of the masses on live television. We all gonna watch it. Does Jordan Poole have a black eye? We don't know. I haven't seen Jordan Poole since he melted on the court at practice. So here's what I wrote down from what y'all said and just from prior to this episode starting. Number 1, how did Jordan Poole finish practice? Like, was he conscious? Was he unconscious? If you're conscious, how is he not throwing hands? I'm sorry.
Did he have to go underneath the tent? Did he have to go underneath the tour tent?
The blue tent?
Okay. Yeah.
Like, how did he finish practice? That's what I want to know. Because I think Lamar Jackson tweeted it. Speaking of football, Lamar Jackson was like, nah, you got to see me every day until I retire. Because, like, no. I got to get my lick back. When you growing up with your older brother hits you, you start crying. He said, God, get your hit back. That's what you do too. You know, you got a little brother. You know, like ain't no way you just like let your older brother get a hit in and you just don't get one, not even an attempt, a slap, a mush, or something. So that's number one. Number two, I wanted to know where's Jordan Poole from. So I looked at his Wikipedia. It says he was born in Milwaukee. Milwaukee is a tough city. Or she, do you know better than I do? I don't know about the Midwest. What's Milwaukee like?
No, I'm not down. He's from Milwaukee. He just might be from a suburb of Milwaukee. You know how somebody say, "I'm from Memphis."
I'm from right? They want
to exactly, but they're from Germantown. And when I say Germantown, I mean all the way out there by Germantown.
Yes. So he went to a school in Milwaukee, and then he ended up going to a prep school in Indiana. So I don't. Anybody from Memphis, like you can be from Germantown. I know Memphis gonna throw hands one way or another. Somebody gonna throw hands. That's number two. Number three, how can you face the media? Because I don't know. I saw Draymond's interview. I saw that Steve Kerr spoke. I saw that I think Steph Curry spoke. Did Jordan Poole speak? Do you know too? He didn't speak. So
I ain't said a word. I mean, at this point, like, what can you say?
That's embarrassing. Like Draymond apologized to his mom and his dad and was like, I know how my mom would have reacted, you know, if somebody punched me. That comment was embarrassing. Like, your mama, oh man, I embarrassed your mama. Like, dude, you embarrassed me. Like, what are you talking about? My mama, my daddy, leave them out of it. I'm a grown ass man. I'm 23 years old. Like, that I just can't. Number four, the amount of shit talking that's about to occur on that basketball court, because you know them Grizzlies are ready. Oh, Christmas, Jordan Poole, you good, man? Yeah, you recovered from that? Anthony Edwards, you know he talks shit. It's Ant-Man. That's two dudes. So you know, shit talkers, trash talkers on the basketball court, they look for stuff. They're gonna be in Jordan Poole's head all season, which kind of validates Took's point. There is no way that even if Jordan Poole gets traded, he gonna be in a new locker room with zero respect. Zero. You got clocked by Draymond Green and you did nothing. If I'm Jordan Poole, I'm hiring a camera crew right now. I need me and Draymond to run the ones at some point. I got to get one hit in. I got to get one. You can't just get clocked on national TV or national social media and not do anything. You can't do that. I'm sorry. You have no respect from anybody. So that's number four. Number five, Draymond ain't going nowhere. Draymond is, like Took said, the heartbeat of the team. They don't win those rings without Draymond. They could have won more because of Draymond. In his situation with being suspended game 5 against the Cavaliers. He ain't going nowhere. Not until his contract up and he's past his prime or past his necessary time to be with the Golden State Warriors. If anything, I'm extending Draymond Green. I need the energy on my team to keep these young dudes in line, to be honest. And then number 6, I thought about situations that happened in the past. So obviously Tony Allen, OJ came to mind. I was a ball boy for the Grizzlies at the time, and I remember the story happening and then coming out and seeing OJ Mayo, the last one out at shoot around with big ass earrings and a black eye. If you have spent any time with the Grit and Grind Grizzlies, you know that OJ Mayo did not last with the Grizzlies beyond that fight. I think about another situation, D'Angelo Russell and Nick Young. D'Angelo Russell had a moment of immaturity that happened with Nick Young, revealing his infidelity with Iggy Azalea. And D'Angelo Russell is no longer with the Lakers at that time. He went on somewhere else. Of course, he hopefully learned from it, but a moment of immaturity, you can't have that in the locker room, especially when you've got other younger players, Jonathan Kuminga, James Wiseman, other different players on the team that are young and that don't want to be, made an impression of. There is a level of respect that has to come with veterans and young players. I think that Jordan Poole was walking that fine line, if I had to guess one way or another. Could Draymond not have caught back on that man? Absolutely. But we all know Jordan Poole, he feeling himself. He smelling himself right now. He due for a contract. He gonna get it so long as he's able to perform to the highest of his ability. But right now, his value with the Golden State Warriors, to be honest, is low now. It's very low because, like, I don't know if he's gonna have that same value with another team. I feel like you can get the same production from Jordan Poole that you get from Jordan Clarkson in Utah, and that's basically his trajectory as Jordan Clarkson, bench player that can go in and get you 20 points. Not good on defense at all. We saw him dance unfold in similar manners against John Morant. but yeah, this whole situation was just funny to me. I was against the Draymond situation, but I'm like, after spending time to evaluate it and break it down, I was like, yeah, there's some decorum that has to occur when you are an NBA player and you have a championship pedigree in Draymond Green and you're a young player trying to get paid. Something had to have happened to push Draymond Green to that point, and we saw what unfolded from there. So,
and one thing I like to say, Savage, is great point what you just said. The value with Jordan Poole, right? Like I do feel like it's pretty high, but like you said, how is it still? So I actually came up with a couple teams or 3 teams that Jordan Poole would look good on before we head out.
If y'all listening, y'all need to take note of this because he be on the money with this stuff.
I be on it. Hey man, and in my past life, on my next one, I'm gonna be a general manager of an NBA team. Mark my words. But the 3 teams I had, first one. So I feel like the Warriors got a sum of parts of that's why they're championship, right? So at this point, they just need a backup point guard. First team I got is the Utah Jazz. Yeah, they got the money to pay Poole, trade him for Mike Conley. Mike Conley coming off the Warriors bench, be pretty good in my opinion. Number 2, Orlando. Orlando got the money. They can use some extra scoring with Banchero. Trade him for my guy Fultz. Of course, I had to throw that one out. But any point guard that you can get from the Magic will be good. And the third one, be the Knicks. They try to go out to Donovan Mitchell just for scoring punch. If Jordan Poole really about their life as far as scoring, we'll be able to see it in New York. So maybe Derrick Rose, maybe, whatever point guard they got, but we'll see. But look for those 3 teams if Jordan Poole was to become available to do that thing. And I would say the Heat cheated, but you still got me on the Oladipo part. So
thank God you didn't say that. I like the Knicks thing though. I think the Knicks, he likes that spotlight. Like, you know what I mean? Like he's that type of, again, to your point, young-minded type of kid. Yeah. I think that him, Brunson, Randall, stay there. Of course, you know what I mean? Like, they just got done paying RJ. So I like the Knicks thing, honestly. Of all the teams that you've named, of those 3, I think I like the Knicks the most.
All right, so we're gonna wrap this up with a bow. And best believe we're gonna be following this throughout the season.
We got a choice.
we were following Kevin Durant, and some say we still low key are, but this is gonna be, you have to. The only thing that cures is winning. But I still don't think winning even cures this, man. Dudes got egos, man. They got egos. They want to get theirs. They want to, recover from this situation. But I don't think it's coming back from this. So, but yeah, we're gonna come back to this in the future. But now let's kind of transition into the point of this episode. At least a couple of weeks ago, NBA awards predictions. We are coming up on the start of the NBA season. That's about a week and a half from now. So. Want to have a discussion about who we think is going to win the regular season awards, as well as who could potentially be a dark horse candidate. So which one do y'all want to start off first? I think we start with MVP. Get it out the way. Start with MVP. All right.
Let's go on down.
So I can start us off. I think it's happening, y'all. I think Nikola Jokic is going to be the 3-peat MVP, and I'm putting on my own conspiracy hat this time. Another important thing is going to happen this season, maybe 2 important things, depending on how it happens. LeBron James is going to pass the all-time scores list with Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. He's going to pass the all-time assist list. I think it's John Stockton, or who's also our all-time assist list? I think it's John Stockton.
John Stockton.
Okay. And I think the NBA is going to want to kind of distract away from LeBron James by saying, oh, you did all this. But Nikola Jokic is something that you didn't do. 3-time MVP in a row. That's never happened in NBA history. Now, conversely, they could just say, you know what, nah, we ain't doing this. Let's give Joel Embiid, a chance with the MVP trophy. But I think Jokic is going to win because his stats are going to be his stats. His stats were great last year without anybody helping them. He had Bones Highland that came out of nowhere. But now you're getting Junior back, you're getting Jamal Murray back, who looked pretty decent in the preseason game. So I think that
until he pulled up on that shot, I don't know what happened.
Until he put up on that shot, yes. but I think that's going to constitute more wins for the Denver Nuggets, and more wins, same stats. If he's like a 1 or 2 seed, you have to give it to him. That's how I feel. You literally have to give it to him. Otherwise, it's like, what are the parameters of the MVP? So give me Nikola Jokic.
Okay, cool. So we're just going around to say who we think will win first, and then go to dark.
And then dark horse. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yes. All right. I guess I'll go next then, since I just came off mute. And so my MVP this upcoming season, first of all, Nikola Jokic will be the last player since Larry Bird to do a three-peat in a row. Amazing how they're both white. But some incredible stats. But I think the MVP of this upcoming season will come. You brought some great points about a member of LA. He's going to pass the points per game or all-time points, maybe even do assists, which is incredible to hear from one person. You didn't hear John Stockton getting the most points of his career, nor did you hear Kareem Abdul-Jabbar getting, even that top 10 assists. So for LeBron to be there is amazing. However, I think the MVP will be Kawhi Leonard from the Clippers. I think his ability to come back, be that robot that he is, he's going to get at least 64, 65 games. And in those 65 games, he's going to play at a very elite level. And he's going to elevate. You talk about the Nuggets to a 1 or 2 seed. I think the Clippers are going to be a top 3 seed, if not a 2nd seed in the West itself. This team is going to be very, very good. And this is a team that last year, without 3, you might as well just say this team just added 3 players, right? You might as well say that. They added John Wall. Paul George was in there as a hiccup and then was out. And then Kawhi Leonard didn't play at all. So this team is literally getting 3 players and was in a playing scenario last season. And I think Kawhi Leonard is going to take them over the top, as he did in Toronto, as he did in San Antonio. And I think this is the season for Kawhi Leonard to win the MVP, Most Valuable Player award in the NBA. Regardless of all the stats that will happen, I think it is his time. So give me Kawhi.
So I'm still twisted. I know I was supposed to come in with a direct answer, but it's literally half and half for me, and I'm gonna let y'all know why. So the first half of me wants to go Luka Doncic. Luka Doncic, we saw what he did in the playoffs. We know what he can do in the league. My thing is, how tired, how fatigued will he be coming into the season? And what I mean by that is that most NBA players that don't play overseas, they chilling. What I'm saying? Especially in America, they getting their bodies right. They doing this, they doing that. They chilling. Luka Doncic played his last game in Eurobasket not even a month ago. So he's coming into, preseason. See, I get it. It's a month later. I get it. But how fatigued will he be? I'm not sure. You know what I'm saying? But he will have a great team to help balance, a better team to help balance him out. So he can definitely be up there as a Mavericks, be in the top 3 seed. I also feel the same way, opposite with Ja Morant. And what I mean by Ja Morant is that he knows, when you got a player that knows, like Dwayne Wade came into the league, 3rd year, killed it. I think he won MVP, something like that. When you know you that guy, you're gonna perform.
He should have. He should have. We'll talk about that later. He should have.
Absolutely. So with Ja Morant, and if you go look at his Taylor Ricks interview, which is I definitely enjoyed that. One of the things that he talked about was with his personal trainer, Mo Wells. If you don't know Mo Wells, he's a master at what he does. Go look him up. And what they emphasize is that Ja really, what stopped Ja from winning MVP last year was the fact that he didn't play enough games. So if you come into this season, play 65 games, and the Grizzlies are still at the top, regardless of when Jaren comes back or not, if the Grizz are up there in the top 5, he's going to get looked at. And it's going to be the last maybe 15 games to determine, as normal, who's the MVP. But as long as Ja Morant is there, as long as he can give us 65, 70 games, that'll be my MVP, because the world is watching now. We got the national televised games. We got the Christmas games. We got the world looking. You got, you working in the dark, but meantime, we watching you, and we ready for you. I can't wait. Year 4 Ja Morant, I'm expected to see MVP numbers from him. So of course, like I said, have me going Ja, have going Luka. If you ask me, gun to the head right now, I gotta go with the Memphis man Ja, but y'all understand why I can't go with Luka.
No doubt. So my dark horse candidate, very dark horse. I'm gonna go with Zion, man. And I say Zion because
the NBA's baby, of course.
NBA's baby. They want him to do well. Like I think the NBA was caught off guard when Ja Morant kind of snatched it from him, as far as like being that dude for the NBA. And to be honest, Ja Morant is still going to be that dude. Like, I would love for it to be a John Morant versus Zion MVP race in the same division, same conference, same draft. Like, give me that all day long. Zion, when Zion plays, we know what happens. The man can put up 27 points a game. He can put up 9 rebounds. He's unstoppable going downhill towards the goal. And I would assume the Pelicans, if this happened, are at least a top 4 seed. And Zion Williamson is going to get his numbers so long as he plays. He got his money. He has the weight clause in his contract. He has to play.
He's looking good.
The fact that, he looked great in preseason. Looked good. So the fact that he has to play, he got paid, he got the weight clause, he won his money. I feel like that will make him a dark horse MVP candidate so long as his running mate, Brandon Ingram and Valanciunas and McCollum hold down the fort and do their part. Zion could easily be in the MVP conversation.
All right, so dark horse here is actually a former MVP candidate here, but I think his resurgence, we're talking about weight. This is a great segue for my guy who's lost some weight. He looks pretty good. And I think that this team will be a top 2 to 3 team in the East itself. So notice we're not MVP race. So most of the time they pick the teams that are of the best quality. Of course, being 6th in the West was no slouch for Nikola as well. But I think my dark horse lies in Philly, and that's James Harden.
He was almost mine. He was almost mine. He was almost mine.
James Harden is going to produce at least 10 assists a game. He's going to give you at least 20 points a game in Philly. And I think his rebounds, they may or may not go up or down, but he's going to learn. I think in the beginning of the season, last season, he was learning how the fouls would affect how he was as an offensive player, right? Because they changed how they called the fouls. And he finally adjusted to it, I feel like, midway at the end of the season. So now he's coming in with a full season of this. Take fouls as well. I think he becomes more efficient at his position. And they don't talk about Joel Embiid as much. They'll bring in more of James Harden. This team will go as far as James Harden will go, which, as we know, there are 2 reasons why they won't make the finals. One is James Harden, the other being Glenn. And I'm not talking about the guy from The Walking Dead. But speaking of them, James Harden will be a dark horse for MVP. Watch out for him. Watch out for them themselves, but they won't go that far in the Eastern Conference Finals. But regular season, give me James Harden as a dark horse.
Absolutely. I'm with you on that one, Sheedy. So it's funny that Savage actually brought up the quote-unquote conspiracy because, believe it or not, my dark horse would be LeBron James. What I mean by that is this is to cap off a great season of what he's about to do. Like, literally, Savage, he's about to break the scoring record. Who would have thought? He's about to break the assist record. Who would have thought in the same season? That's crazy. But it's still like the part of a dark horse is what ifs. That's the biggest thing in a dark horse. What if the Lakers are a better defensive team? What if the Lakers traded Russell and got back the pieces they could get, i.e. Miles Turner and Buddy Hill, i.e. Patrick Bev, who people call whatever. What if he has a better scoring season and is still able to bring that defensive intensity? What if Anthony Davis can give us 60 games this season? If all of those can happen, we can see the Lakers in the playoffs. And with the storylines of LeBron being the oldest MVP ever, to kind of cap out is he the greatest, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Of course, he'll never be the greatest to me. But there's nothing wrong with being second greatest of all time, in my opinion. Of course, debate this, whatever, leave in the comments what you think. Still won't change my mind. But as far as this season go, LeBron being the oldest to win MVP will be honestly great for the league, because I'm getting tired of players like him, Kevin Durant of the world, just always getting overlooked for MVPs when they are always in the conversation. They just never get the damn award because we're tired of giving them the award. When was the last time LeBron did win an MVP? Was like 2007 something?
Was it Miami? I can't even remember.
Did he win an MVP in Miami?
No, he definitely won the MVP.
He definitely
won 2 in Miami.
2 in Miami, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'm trying to think. I think he also won one when he was in Cleveland. I'm very confident of that.
He won one with Cleveland for sure.
Okay. Yeah, I'm talking about when he coming back from Miami.
He got 3 MVPs, right? He got 2 in Miami and 1 in Cleveland.
He got 4.
He got 4.
He got one. He got one
before Miami.
Oh, he got 4. He got 2009, 2010, 2012, and 2013.
Yeah.
Man, he should have more than that, to be honest.
Yeah, talk about fatigue. They ain't really
and that was
that.
Miami. So he didn't win one in Cleveland the second go around at all.
I thought he did. So he did. So he won 2 in Cleveland.
2 in Cleveland, 2 in Miami.
Wow.
Yep. That's crazy.
Yep. Now, of course, the Finals MVP with the Lakers, but whatever. But I mean, let's go ahead and I give credit to where credit due. Like, let's go ahead and give him, especially if he have a great season. Like I said, just the what ifs.
It's a big what if. Go together. Big what if.
Yeah, the Lakers in the playoffs because everybody expect them not to be. Yeah, got to give it to him. Okay. He did average 30, and the league had 10 assists last season. So
yeah, with no help at all.
Right, with a broken Anthony Davis, and Jesus Christ.
It'll be hilarious. Like if Bronny gets into the league, what if LeBron went MVP and his son won Rookie of the Year? that would be crazy.
Lights on the NBA, yeah.
That would be crazy.
That's a true conspiracy right there.
That would be crazy. We'll be on the same team. That'd be even crazy. All right, DPOY. I went with Bam Adebayo, man. Like I feel like the theme for me with all these players, even like the top 10 list and even the NBA awards, it's like it's time. You got paid. People been talking about you. I feel like it's time with Bam Adebayo, man. Last year, he actually had an uptick on his scoring and just overall offensive production. But Bam is that dude on defense. He's the anchor of the team, in my opinion, on both ends of the court. And so with Bam doing what he does on defense, I keep going back to that block in the bubble where he like used his finger to block Jason Tatum's dunk. And I know that Bam could be that dude on defense. He just got to lock in and be focused. And I think that Miami this year, and Shidi will probably tested this, I think Miami gonna be coming in this year focused, man. I think Kyle Lowry had his down year. Jimmy Butler couldn't shoot a beach ball into the ocean. Bam Adebayo wasn't as aggressive on offense despite having a career high in scoring. But I think Bam is going to turn around this year and be DPOY.
Yeah, if I can walk with you, brother, I'm actually in agreement. I think Bam is Defensive Player of the Year as well. I think the focus and mindset is that, to your point, it's time, Bam. There's no more kind of chains on you about, restrictions about you playing defense or offense. Like at some point you have to go up, right? Because we all know big men don't get that long shelf life of 35 plus and being something in the league. So I think our defense goes as Bam goes. Our offense as well, I believe, goes as that goes. Don't get me wrong, Jimmy Butler is still one of the greatest thieves of all time. He averaged 2 steals a game for multiple seasons. But you don't want to come in that paint with Bam and go challenge at the rim with Bam. And Bam has to start asserting himself. We got Deadman coming off the bench, but Bam has to be it. And then especially if we play more of a smaller role, so to speak, smaller ball, to begin the season, as I'm looking at our starting 5, Bam has to be it. And he has to be our stopper. And I believe Eric Spoelstra puts him in great positions defensively within the zone to be that type of force. And Bam also, even if it's not in the zone, Bam is one of the elite players that I believe at his height can defend a 2 through 4 or 5 scenario. Sometimes the one's a little bit too fast for Bam, but it's not like he can't hold his own and he doesn't try. That's the other thing on Bam. Bam, this Defensive Player of the Year award, he does not give up on plays. And that's what I love about Bam and what we're doing with him in Miami. But I also have Bam as my Defensive Player of the Year.
Great choice, y'all, with Bam. Like this is his year. Like you said, there's no shackles on him. He can do it all. You know what I'm saying? But for a player that can't do it all necessarily on offense, but would do his damn thing on defense, gotta go Rudy Gobert. He's brought to the Timberwolves for a reason. I told y'all they were gonna be a good team. Regular season, whatever. This is a regular season award, and this is what we're gonna call it. He's gonna do his thing in the paint. I don't expect his numbers to drop. They probably honestly just stay the same. And if they do stay the same, I mean, it could be just a thing of we're tired of giving Rudy Gobert, the Defensive Player of the Year trophy. But at the same time, he's going to be with Cat as well. So the damage they're going to do holding the paint down is going to be bar none. So if I got to pick, give me Rudy Gobert.
They're going to be fatigued of Rudy, I bet. They're going to be like, nah, we ain't doing this again. All right, my dark horse, I'm going to go with Ben Simmons. That might just be my bias coming out. That's it. I'm with you. I feel like if the Nets are not even top 4 seed, if they are a playoff team, that means they would have improved defensively. And the only thing that's changed with the improvement defensively is Ben Simmons. Ben Simmons, he can guard 1 through 5. We know that he can do that. And I feel like with less attention on offense for Ben and less need to score, because in Philadelphia he had to score, and we know how Philly fans are. I'm an Eagles fan. I know how it is in Philadelphia. He ain't got to score. He can score his 12 points a game. He ain't got to shoot no threes. You got one of the best shooters in history. Oh, both of them, Kyrie and KD. And you got Steph Curry, who ain't nothing to sneeze at. And hopefully Joe Harris can find his jumper again, because he lost it last year. Ben can focus on just being a playmaker, getting those rebounds, outlet passes. But this ain't about offense, obviously. It's defense. We know that Ben can sit in the chair. We know he on guard the best player on defense. And that, in theory, opened up Kevin Durant a bit more, so where he ain't got to guard LeBron every night. You can put Ben on him, and Ben gonna be straight. So give me Ben Simmons as my dark horse.
Yeah, I concur. You give, to your point that you just said too, about Rudy Gobert. If you tell Ben Simmons, hey, I just need you to lock out on defense and then, find your space on offense, I agree, Savage. This could definitely be a dark horse for Defensive Player of the Year. My dark horse is actually coming from the dark, man. I got Ja Morant at Defensive Player of the Year as a dark horse. There's an article out about him and Coach Jenkins talking about how Ja wants to improve more defensively. And if Ja improves defensively, with the TV time we got, with the accolades that he already has, with going into this season, I think there's a strong conversation that could be made if he gets, I don't know, somewhere a little bit closer to 2 steals a game. I think his points will still stay the same and things like that. But there's a chance that this could happen, because we all know when Ja locks in on something, he's there. When we saw you always talk about the ascension from the second to the third year, Ja was locked in. And instead of the MVP award that he should have got, they gave him the MIP award, right? And he wasn't brought into the MVP conversations, but had, a minimum amount of games. This year, especially starting off with, how long Triple J will be out, if he becomes more of a force on offense, there might be some more trading from the Grizzlies if this happens as well. And again, dark horse, give me the dark man himself, who's not dark at all, Ja Morant.
That's funny shit. I mean, that's a definition of a dark horse.
It's dark as hell. Dark as hell.
I hope that trade do happen. I hope something happen.
Y'all ain't right. Y'all ain't right. That's all I'm gonna say. Y'all ain't right.
Oh, man. Look, he's talking about he want to average 4 or 5 assists a game this season. I said, ain't no way in hell, but whatever.
To the stands, nigga. He going to average 4 or 5 assists to the stands with them assists and bricks.
Oh my God. We love you, Dylan Brooks. But I'm with you, Savage. If I had to pick a dark horse, it'll be Ben Simmons, specifically because he can guard them 1 through the 5. Steve Nash plans to play him at the 5 a lot more, which is what I would do, honestly. And if you look at when Draymond Green actually won Defensive Player of the Year, he had averaged I think it was 2 blocks and a steal and a half. No, 2 steals and a block and a half. I think Ben Simmons can do the same thing with those numbers as well. And literally, like you said, Savage, if he's in the play, if the Nets in the playoffs and he's putting up the numbers, he's literally being the Draymond Green of the Nets. You can't ignore that. So my dark horse would be Ben Simmons, who, again, is the farthest thing from dark.
All right, Rookie of the Year. I'm gonna just keep it simple. I think it's Paolo. I think if Paolo's healthy, it's Paolo. 6'10", 250, can score from all 3 levels. I even say my dark horse. My dark horse would be Jaden Ivey. But I think if Paolo don't win, somebody got to go ham this year. Like Keegan Murray gonna have to just have the Kings in the playoffs, or Jabari Smith gonna have to be shooting 40% from 3. Chet gonna come back miraculously from injury. I think it's Paolo, and I don't think it's anybody else close.
Okay, since we're dumping them both on here, let's go ahead and get them out the way. I actually MVP, Rookie of the Year, man. I got Keegan Murray from the Kings. I think Paolo's going to attract a lot of attention as well. Of course, Chet's done. Even though I drafted him, he's done. But I just want to go to somewhere different for my Rookie of the Year. So I had Keegan Murray. I had a pretty good showing during preseason as well with the Kings. Of course, the Kings are in that division that's, they're the last team in their division legitimately, and they will not make the playoffs or a play-in scenario because no way 5 teams make it from that division. But again, I think he can do pretty well, especially if you see Paolo take a little bit of a dip, or if Paolo gets hurt in any type of way. I think Keegan Murray has a great chance to do this. My dark horse for Rookie of the Year was, sorry guys, I put it on my phone. Oh, hey man, I'm gonna go to Detroit, and I'm gonna keep it Memphis, man. Jalen Duren, step up. I want to see it, man. I want to see the passion that you have with Memphis. I want to see them unlock you a little bit more. I want you to put brothers on their butts and make them feel you the way they did at Memphis. And I believe, man, you could make a big difference. Again, it's a dark horse, right? Yeah. Not saying you're going to win it, but
hey. That's Ben Wallace with offense. Ben Wallace with offense. If I called him. So they got
Let's go. I'm ready. I would love to see it, man. I think that'd be a great thing for Detroit, man. Detroit has been crying for anything since 2003. So let me Jalen Duren as my dark horse.
Great pick with the dark horse, Sheedy. I can start with you with the dark horse. Mine is actually Jalen Duren as well. I think he was the best big man in the draft. Whether you got Shed or the guy that the Hornets end up getting, I think he's the best big in the draft. I think when you come from the Memphis Tigers program as well, I think Penny Hardaway coached the hell out of him. And we saw it throughout the NCAA tournament as well. And of course, throughout the regular season for the Tigers. But like I said, he's the best big of this draft. And I think that if he can somehow find a way to crack the rotation with Detroit, because they got a bunch of bigs as well. But if he can do that, I think he can definitely put up, I ain't gonna say the Dwight Howard numbers, but the body's there, the work can be there as well. But my Rookie of the Year, of course, Paolo. And I went Paolo because, of course, the numbers that he put up. But if you go and look at the teams that, drafted top 5, they still are pretty much going to be slaw. You got the Thunder, the Rockets, the Kings, the Pistons, who, of course, they'll be better. But I think, of course, Paolo put up numbers here to do process of elimination. You definitely got to give it to him as well. Especially if Savage somehow happens to be right and they find themselves in the playoffs. You got to give it to the kid. So that's my Rookie of the Year is Paolo.
Oh, we're not going to entertain the Magic. Not even in the play-in scenario.
I'm just saying. Just watch out.
There's a dark horse chance that the Magic make the playoffs. So,
we'll see. Sixth man of the year. I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna do both of them. The guy that I'm picking changed teams, and I feel like his role is going to expand with this team. Give me D'Anthony Melton from the Sixers. We saw what he can do in Memphis as that spark plug that does everything. Literally, I think he led the league in like touches of the ball in terms of like steals and blocks and deflections and all that. We know he can be a microwave on offense with scoring. He can put up 20. He can put one on your head at the rim too. So give me D'Anthony Melton as my guy to pick sixth man of the year. My dark horse, and this is if everything aligns perfectly for this team, because things have increased dramatically as far as expectations with the addition of Spider Mitchell. Give me Kevin Love, man. I think Kevin Love is going to be happy. He's going to be happy to get the rebounds, shoot threes, set screens. And I think that's going to be like a feel-good story as far as like how his career will end with Cleveland. Because I think he's on the back nine. He is on the back nine of his career. But give me Kevin Love come off the bench to get open shots, because I mean Kevin Love, I said it's about all the all-star caliber players as they get older. Every now and then they'll show you who they were. We know that Kevin Love was a 30-30 kind of dude. He did it twice. Did it in Minnesota twice, man. And we saw Derrick Rose a couple of years ago. I put it on our Twitter. He put up 50-something points for the Timberwolves, and he's definitely over the hill. So give me Kevin Love as my dark horse. And he's not dark at all, obviously.
Hey, so funny, you mentioned the Cleveland Cavaliers. When we're talking about sixth man of the year, my sixth man of the year also comes from the Cleveland Cavaliers, but a little more darker coffee than Kevin Love. And I got my man Gerald Levert. I think coming off the bench, singing what he can in his praises and playing with, you got Spider. And I'm just envisioning a lineup like, so let's say it's not Kevin Love, right? So in my head, I'm not saying Kevin Love is there in regards to this type of finishing lineup, but you got Evan Mobley at the center, right? You got Spider, you got Garland, and I don't think you don't finish the game without Jared LeVert. Now, who goes into that 4 or 5 position? Who knows? That might be Kevin Love, may not, but I think with Gerald LeVert there, again, it's Karis LeVert, ladies and gentlemen, is a dark horse for me. His scoring is there. He's shown that everywhere he's gone, from Brooklyn to the Pacers to now here. And I think, other players will command some attention to give him that opportunity. That's my dark horse. However, who I believe should win Sixth Man of the Year, and I just don't understand this yet. But since this is what they want to do, I got Christian Wood as my Sixth Man of the Year.
It won't be long. That won't be long. That won't be long. Ain't no way you got him off the bench, man. He got to start. Like dude shoots 20 points a game, 10 rebounds, shoot 40% from 3. That man gonna start. But go
exactly.
ahead.
And you're right. He should be starting. However, they're saying he's coming off the bench. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm taking Christian Wood. A big like that coming off the bench, giving you that production, ladies and gentlemen, that's got to be your Sixth Man of the Year. And he's no slouch on defense either. I'm not saying he's going to be a Draymond Green stopper, so to speak, but he's going to contest some shots, and he's going to be playing against a second lineup, so to speak. He's not going to be playing against the starters or the starters that are more reduced with their energy. So give me Christian Wood if that's what the Mavericks want to do. Christian Wood. Go on and sign and release him for the Sixth Man of the Year players.
It's funny you said him because I was actually going to acknowledge him, even though he won't be mine, because I think he'll be starting at some point as well, period. But I do understand why Dallas want to bring him off the bench, because you want to continue their starting lineup from last year. You do want to keep what's going hot, you know what I'm saying? And this is a team that, again, could be in the Western Conference Finals if you increase and strengthen their bench, which is what they did. And you got JaVale McGee, who's one of the best players of what he do. There is a chance he may, still be on the bench. So, but I expect him to start. That's why he won my pick. Still, another player like that who we still got to acknowledge, even though he's not my pick, is Malcolm Brogdon. We expect him to start as well, which is why I didn't pick him. But the person that I would pick, who I believe is his award to lose until the Heat start him, is Tyler Hero. The guy's literally just became the most turned white boy in Miami right now. 4-year, 130
big
mil.
Money.
Big money. Hero. And I've been a fan of his for a minute. So, you know what I'm saying? I like him. He does what he does. 20 points off the bench, instant offense, just like that. Like I said, it's his award to lose as long as he continues to come off the bench and as long as he continues to produce. My dark horse, honestly, will be talk about the Mavericks, Spencer Dinwiddie. He'll be coming into a bigger role as well after Mavericks losing Jalen Brunson. Last year he was coming back from injury, so we did get to see glimpses of where he can be now. I think he's fully healthy, full summer, knows his role. Will play with Luka a bunch too, but I think still coming off the bench and giving Jalen Brunson numbers do great for the Mavericks and do great for him. So dark horse would be Spencer Dinwiddie of the Mavericks.
Before you go, Sav, before we continue, interesting enough how the three of us shared one team twice, right, with 2 different options as well, which means we considered both of these teams to be something, right, within this regular season and the playoffs. And the only tick that I have, I'm not even saying it against Tyler Hero, so to speak, but Tyler Hero wants to start, and I think a Sixth Man of the Year realistically could also be from the same team, Miami, is that boy Victor. If Victor has some type of resurgence, the way he did during the playoffs, his defense is still there. It's just he hasn't get into his offensive prowess, so to speak. And we're paying him pennies to the dollar to find that out. So, but no slouch. I'll take it from Miami. No slouch.
Yeah, and Tyler Hero got mouths to feed now. He got 2 babies, so he got a hoop. Got a hoop. MIP. My MIP is actually on my fantasy draft team, Tyrese Halliburton, because I feel like you saw the numbers from Sacramento, saw the numbers from Indiana, and they increased dramatically from already being good. And I feel like the keys to the franchise are with Tyrese Halliburton. They got Mathurin in the draft. Still got Miles Turner. If he stays there, we'll see. But so long as he's that guy for Indiana, I think he'll be the most improved player. My dark horse, and I think this is just because, and again, theme of the NBA season, it's time to play. If you play basketball, I'm going to assume you're going to improve James Wiseman, because we saw him in snippets in terms of like what he could do. He looked springy in preseason. He's playing. There might be more minutes depending on if Jordan Poole is no longer there. But I think I've been on James Wiseman since East High School. I went to his game and I was like, oh yeah, that's an NBA player. That dude's 7 feet tall. He jumping out the gym. Yeah. And if he plays basketball this year, he's going to give you 15 and 7 easy in his sleep. So give me James Wiseman as my most improved player.
Gotcha. It's crazy because how all this is flowing, gentlemen, it flows very well because either it's what you guys mentioned or what we mentioned, and then our dark horse is all connecting somehow. So I'm going to keep the connection you have for your MIP as a big, but I'm actually going to not stay west with you, but I'm going to go east. I'm going to go to the Cavs and say Evan Mobley for most improved player. I think his minutes are going to go up. I think he's learned some more from Jared Allen. Oh, you know what? I lied. He can't be most improved player because he'll only be in the second year.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyways, my dark horse was Tyrese Halliburton. So let me get Tyrese Halliburton for MIP. I wish they didn't have that 1 to 2 thing clause, but I understand for MIP. I really didn't have another person, so I'm still gonna stick with Evan Mobley just because I mess with the Cavs.
They might give it to him though, man. If he puts up 20 a game, I feel like you have to give it to him though, man.
There's the clause is you have to be from your second to third year. I know, right? So that was my fault. I messed that up. Viewers, it's on me. But trust me when I tell you, Evan Mobley is going to be something to watch out for this season. So call it my dark horse for now. And I agree with Halliburton for the Pacers. I was about to say the Kings, but with the Pacers at this point, because I agree. He's got the keys now, and he's not on the Pacers trading block, so to speak, right? So they're believing in what he's got going, which means more of a role. They got rid of Malcolm Brogdon because of him. They're getting ready to get rid of Buddy Hield as well. So they're getting rid of their guards per se to give him, here you go. We need something. And so, again, give me Halliburton, and I don't give a damn. Give me Evan Mobley still for a dark horse.
So first things first, shout out to you, Savage, for bringing James Wiseman up for most improved. And this is third year, so I guess he technically would be able to get that award. So, hey, shout out to you, of course. We saw in the preseason that the Warriors really emphasized on giving him the ball as well, which was beautiful. I'm with you. The guy is... I fell in love watching him play. I ain't never seen nobody do what he can do at his size live like that before. So shout out to you. Of course, it's not mine, but shout out to you for bringing them up. I actually got 2 of them because their numbers are kind of similar, and I'm not sure still at this point which numbers look higher to win most improved. Those 2 players are, of course, Anthony Edwards, who I've been raving about on this pod, but a guy that just got paid, and it's time for you to show the hell up, and that's RJ Barrett. If you look at their numbers, Anthony Edwards averaged 21 points a game. RJ was literally at 20. Could we see Ant-Man go to 25? Yeah. Could we see RJ Barrett go to 25? It's about time for you to show the hell up. So you should. Defensively, RJ Barrett can do a hell of a lot better, and I think he's going to put an emphasis on that this season. So if he can emphasize, putting 25 points a game, getting better defensively, somehow the Knicks end up in the playoffs or in at least the play-ins, you can't ignore Anthony Edwards. You can't ignore RJ Barrett because the media is there as well, and it's time for him to show the hell up. But then you still got Ant-Man, who, like I said, 25 could be easy because he go to 28 points a game. It's his extension that, is going to determine whether he gets most improved. But I think still those 2 players are kind of like in the same boat in a minute. You know what I'm saying? Anthony Edwards it's not time for him yet to show up, but we saw what the Timberwolves can do when he did show up in the playoffs last season. So the pressure for both of them is kind of there as well. So that's why I'm kind of still stuck. Again, I guess gun to the head, if I was to pick one, it'd be Anthony Edwards, but RJ Barrett, it's time for you to show the hell up. And I think that he can also be right there as well.
I love that you brought up RJ Barrett too, because he's like the lost man in that draft. Because you got Zion, Ja, and everybody else. And RJ was the top prospect. Higher than Zion, higher than Ja. Ja wasn't even nowhere near a top prospect. But like RJ, he was supposed to be the first overall pick leading into his time when he was at Duke. And under the radar, he'd been hooping for the Knicks. It's just a matter of, one, Tom Thibodeau putting him out there for the whole game, damn near. But also that messes with his efficiency. He can shoot the ball. Like his comparison going to the draft was James Harden in terms of like his ability to score and to facilitate. And he got size. He's 6'6", 6'7", and can sit in the chair if he needs to. But like you said, I love the mention of RJ because he don't get mentioned enough, surprisingly, for like even like smaller podcasts. Like, nah, RJ, he that dude. It's time. It's you got your money. Nah, go out there and hoop. So definitely, I'm cool with that. See, you had something?
Yeah, too. I mean, you've been spending a lot of time too. I know you just got in from somewhere. You must have been in New York with Spike Lee, talking to him about all this Knicks things, man. Because you
Worldwide
mentioned Knicks
West.
about 3 times.
Worldwide West. Let's talk about it. He got me GM and training with, you know what I'm saying?
Man, so it's coach of the year, man. The coach of the year, I go with my dark horse first. My dark horse, Took mentioned it as far as like, you know, being like a at least a conference finals appearance. They did it this past year. Jason Kidd is my dark horse for coach of the year. At each of his stops, we know that the teams improve. Of course, he was with New York for a second, and then Milwaukee, and then once he left Milwaukee just turned up. But like Dallas, I think he sees himself in Luka as far as like the kind of player, and so he kind of knows what he needs around him. You need a lob threat in Christian Wood and JaVale McGee because Kidd had that with Jefferson and Kenyon Martin and for a minute Mutombo. I think if Dallas does what they're supposed to do and they're a top 4 seed in the West, they'll be in at least in a small part because of Jason Kidd. So he's my dark horse. My selection, and it pains me to say this because this is also in the Grizzlies division, Willie Green. Willie Green from the Pelicans. There's good, it's New Orleans. There's good voodoo, good juju going on in New Orleans right now as far as like how everything is aligning perfectly. You got CJ McCollum, you got Jose Alvarado, you got B.I. B.I. is hungry. I know y'all saw that interview. B.I., he look like he got that look in his eye. I ain't gonna lie to you. B.I., Zion, Jonas Valanciunas, Herb Jones, like the team is good, man. So and I think that New Orleans finally found that guy that knows what New Orleans is about. Willie Green did play there when he was when they were with the Hornets, I believe, New Orleans Hornets. And so he has his ear to the streets of New Orleans and what they need. So if Zion is an MVP candidate, then I feel like Willie Green has to be a coach of the year candidate as well.
Yeah, I have him as my dark horse is Willie Green. I think to your point about if Zion is an MVP candidate, if the Pelicans are in the playoffs, which I got them in the playoffs, it's because of the direction and leadership by Willie Green, man. For them to play the Suns, let's just call it what it is. They played the Suns at a very extreme level to the point where they took them to the limit every single game. And who knows, if Zion was playing healthy, blah, blah, blah. I'm not going to go into all those things. I'm just telling you what we saw was a great product from the Pelicans last season. Now you've had a whole, off season to prepare with them, along with getting Zion at a clause that lowers that weight as well, man. So Willie Green's my dark horse. My coach of the year, also from the Western Conference as well. I got Ty Lue for the Clippers. I think this is a team that's going to contend for a championship. I think it's a team that has the MVP on their team with Kawhi Leonard. If not MVP candidate in the top 3 to 5. But give me Ty Lue. Watch it. It pains me to say this, but like Ty Lue had an amazing season last season and without those 3 players. So I just look to see what he does this season. But hear me out before I give this to Took. I'm not going to be biased, but I'm going to speak my heart and my truth. I don't understand NBA for the life of me why you have not thought about nor gave Eric Spoelstra coach of the year for everything he's done with the Miami Heat. I'm not saying it's this year, but Jesus Christ, that man has been coaching his ass off in Miami, and year after year after year, he is never a finalist, and it kills me. But anyways, nonetheless, again, Willie Green, dark horse, and then Ty Lue for actually winning, because I don't believe they're going to vote for Eric Spoelstra.
What's crazy, Sheet, is that I'm with you, and I think a rebuttal to that, and not even a rebuttal, I think an answer to that would be a dark cloud over Spoelstra's head, because when people think he think Pat Riley over Spoelstra, I think that's literally the only reason why he probably hasn't won Coach of the Year. But you're absolutely right about Eric Spoelstra. My coach of the year would be. It hurt because I'm gonna go Ty Lue as well. Because I expect the Clippers to be one of the top teams. Kawhi Leonard coming back. They got a great roster, top to bottom. They probably got the best roster, arguably, in the NBA on paper. So I think they will put it together. Kawhi's gonna come and do what he does. They're gonna be a top 2 seed in the Western Conference. Ty Lue can't be ignored. Another person I was kind of looked at was still Taylor Jenkins. You know what I'm saying? If the Grizzlies do have a great team this year, a great record, even with Jaren coming back, whenever he comes back, Ja Morant MVP, Taylor Jenkins will be right there with him. And he's arguably could have got it last year by the way the team played without Ja Morant. So the NBA got a habit of giving awards out to players, to teams the year after. Maybe Taylor Jenkins get a shine. My dark horse, believe it or not, for the people that's listening, we talked about them all podcasts. We talked about the same all podcasts, so we got to give them credit. Doc freaking Rivers. Doc Rivers. Doc, we got to give, the Sixers are this regular season team that we all expect them to be top 1, top 2. Doc Rivers will be there for the head for coach of the year, blah, blah, blah. Of course, we know what they're going to do in the playoffs, but of course, these awards aren't for the playoffs. They're for the regular season, and we've been raving about the Sixers, how good they're going to be. 6-man coming off the bench, DeAnthony Melton, but even the starters of James Harden, MVP, Embiid, MVP, Tyrese Maxey turning up. They can be a really good team, or they will be a really good team, health granted, and of course, record-wise. But they'll be a top 2 seed. Dark horse will be Doc Rivers.
Yeah, I just hate how Doc Rivers does so well in the regular season, and then literally, ladies and gentlemen, he just tanks in the playoffs like he's trying to get a first-round pick. Like does he want Wemby? Is that what he wants after he gets a good regular season? He's like, man, all right, well, we made it the regular season. Let's just go ahead and forget about the playoffs.
Man.
You either got it or you don't, man. You either got it or you don't.
So I got 2 things. One, Sheedy mentioned Eric Spoelstra. Sheedy already know. Eric Spoelstra is, in my opinion, best coach in the NBA, bar none. Like what he did with the Heatles, as far as like controlling like the team. Like normally when LeBron come to your team and you don't win, you gone. And I know it's Heat culture, but it takes a certain level of coaching to deal with LeBron, D-Wade, and Bosh. Like it takes some kind of coaching to deal with that. Eric Spoelstra is a top 15 coach all time based on the NBA 75th overall anniversary. And he's never won coach of the year. What? Meanwhile, Doc Rivers has won coach of the year. And he's a top 15 coach. I give him his respect. I might not have voted for that, but he won it one time, and it was with the Magic in 2000. I watched basketball back then, but I don't.
That was basically the greatest turn-up year.
Yeah, it was, but that's T-Mac, not Glenn Rivers.
Oh, yeah. No. Was that 2008 was that might have been the Dwight Howard team?
No, 2000.
2000?
22 years ago.
Sir.
There was T-Mac and Grant Hill and Daryl Armstrong and maybe even Penny Hardaway. I don't know.
and guess who came out the East? Not them.
It might have been Byron Scott in the Nets or something. I can't remember. No, it might have been the Pacers. So it might have been
the Pacers. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah. All right. So we can. I'm gonna wrap it up this last topic. I just want y'all real quick thoughts on Victor Wembanyama. We saw he played against Scoot Henderson, who also is good too. Don't sleep on Scoot Henderson. But just give me y'all's immediate reaction to seeing Victor Wembanyama in the G League game.
Damn. Damn. Like you 7'4", you still gonna grow, and you doing this?
How old is he? 17?
17. He's still gonna grow. He gonna grow a couple more inches. Like he's 7'7", doing what he does, playing like a dog. Like y'all know how I rave about. What's that?
He 18. He'll be 19 January 4th of next year. But even then, man, this man still grown.
Look, man, y'all know how I rave about Kevin Durant being a 7-footer doing what he does. This guy's gonna be by the end of the day 7'6" doing what he does.
This man moves. He moves like a guard. Like his movements. Like if you say his off the dribble, it's fluid. He's shooting like leaners, like on 2K with a shot creator. This man from the corner shooting leaners. I ain't seen Kristaps Porzingis doing that. I damn sure ain't seen Chet doing that. I ain't seen Yao Ming doing that. All of which are good players. this man, like,
He
I'm
different.
glad I ain't go to the league because if I see that coming down the court, 7'4", I'm like, nah, I'm good. I'm about to go. I'm about to go play at the rec center. Dog. I ain't playing with this dude. Nah, no.
Right, sign me up for the G League. I mean, he's been phenomenal. A talent that I think even Richard Jefferson said, like, hey, if LeBron James was in this draft class, he would be second. And I, you know, you can pick hairs, say what you want, but what he has shown at 7'4", he's fading from the 3-point line, hitting threes from the elbow. He's got an offensive repertoire that's there. And I mean, at 7'4", how far do you really have to jump to play defense, realistically, right?
Right.
And so, I mean, the kid's a total package. I'm just concerned, of course, about, you know, durability, his frailness. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only real, you know, notches. But I mean, you don't, I know it's about 7 to 8 teams that are tanking. Ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't been watching basketball in the past 2 weeks, 3 weeks, you can see why these teams are tanking before the season even starts.
They losing preseason games. Like, nah, I'm
right.
good. We ain't winning no games. Preseasons, scrimmages,
yeah.
I ain't winning no games.
Nothing. I need y'all to see I am trash, right? And let me get this pick off. But man, yeah, this kid, he's worth the wait, and he's worth everything these teams are going to do to get him, trade for him, his value. Again, I just hope his lower body comes together as well. I hope he's doing his squats, his calf raises, everything he needs. The only thing is going to be, once he gets into that league in the NBA, there's some grown man weight being thrown around. That G League is all right. All right, it's all right. But there's some grown man weight coming down there now. That's going to be different.
Two things. The reason I may agree with Richard Jefferson on this statement is because the NBA is adopting more of the international game to allow players like that to do. Two, I literally remember them saying the same exact thing about my guy Kevin Durant. He couldn't even lift the bar.
Couldn't lift the bar. Yeah, couldn't lift the bar. Yeah, I remember that.
We saw how it changed. And most times when you got tall jump shooters like that, they're not going to be physically strong. So let's not, of course, add some weight, but let's not take away the fact of what makes him better, which is he can do it all. So I kind of got to stop you on that. Of course, it's going to be grown man weight. Of course, we wanted to put more weight on Chet Holmgren, but you know, that's not take away what he does best, which is everything. But with the timing, I can agree on Victor being ahead of LeBron only because of the time we're in the NBA.
That's true. That's fair. If Victor Wembanyama comes in and has a Kevin Durant trajectory, I don't even know what to do anymore. My child ain't playing basketball because look, I'm
you got a daughter. You
I mean, if I have a son or a daughter, I can have a alien. I don't know, like, because I'm 6'4" and I'm like, he's a foot taller than me. If I'm looking up at him, like with getting whiplash, like, you know what, man, let's play tennis.
He made Rudy Gobert seem short.
Yes, literally. I was like, Rudy Gobert, like, he's like 6'10" and he's 7 foot, 7'1".
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I'm definitely locked into more Wembanyama games. I just want to see, like I said, Scoot Henderson. I mean, he's gonna be a great point guard as well too, but he ain't 7'4". So
let me ask, before we head out, because this is a question I kind of wanted with the OKC having a picks they do, with the Jazz having a picks they do, blah blah blah. Is it a chance that these two can be teammates?
Yes. Why not?
Question.
Why not?
Right.
Because look, you can leave Chet in the paint on offense when Wembanyama's shooting fading threes from the wing. I'll let him operate, like, because you can't guard that. And then if I'm OKC for it, and I get that pick, I'm taking it back to when you were like playing pee-wee ball, like, hey, keep the ball high, they can't get you. And just toss it over the head to Chet, toss it over your head to Victor, turn around and shoot jumpers. That's all you got to do.
It's funny you said that, but I meant not Chet, Victor and Scoot.
Oh, Scoot, can they play together, you think?
Mm-hmm. Is it a chance that they can be teammates? Like, I just got this feeling like, because you got OKC who got 1,000 picks and they can finesse with it. You got the Utah Jazz who can finesse with their picks as well and try to get the top. Like, it's a lot. It's ways that they can be around. I was just curious.
I think they got chemistry because they cool, but anything's possible in the NBA. I wouldn't doubt it.
Yeah, I wouldn't doubt it either. I think it'll be. I think now, because people see how good both of these players are, franchises see this. So if this happens, right, where OKC or the Utah Jazz are able to get both of these players, it's going to take a house, a mortgage, and the city for them to mortgage it all there to get pick one, because you're gonna need pick one and pick two. After that, ladies and gentlemen, we don't really care. No disrespect to the rest of the draft, but this is a top tier draft. You got 1, 2, and then everybody else. Is
I will say
else.
this: there are some twins coming out. I forget their names.
There are.
It's some twins coming out that are good, but the top two, it's like Ja and Zion. It's like, hey, I need Ja and Zion. Let me get one of them at least. So yeah. But all right, y'all. This episode 9 of 3 the Harder Way. We'll be back again next week for the 10th episode. Can't believe it's been 10 episodes, y'all. That's crazy. So what I do plan on doing, unless something crazy happen, one, I do plan on getting some polls out as far as like what we did for our dark horses and for our selections for the NBA awards. So be sure to go on Twitter. I don't know what day I'll do it. Just look on our timeline and vote and respond to who do y'all think will be a dark horse? Who do y'all think will be the MVP or, whatever? But 2, we also might do some Q&A because the 10th episode, I want to see, what you guys think as far as like questions about the NBA season, because that episode will actually come out the week of the NBA season. And so we want to get some questions from the listeners and the viewers, and we're gonna answer them. So see y'all next week. Stay safe, be blessed. Peace.
No questions about polos though.